Hey guys, happy Sunday. Thanks for stopping by for another video. In today's video, we'll be covering latest updates with Ethereum as well as Bitmine Immersion Technology ticker BMNR, led by Tom Lee as the CEO. We'll go through price predictions of Ethereum and BMNR using technical analysis as well as covering the latest updates with what we're seeing around Ethereum and BMNR. Now, if you're new to this channel, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Let's get started, guys. Ted poses predicting the next big move of Ethereum isn't very hard. Just take a look at the Coinbase chart and you'll understand. Usually, coin leads the move and Ethereum just follows. This is true for bottom formation, new all-time high, and even upcoming corrections. Looking at the coin chart, it had a 30% correction from its peak, which means ETH could go down a bit lower too. After that, a reversal and a new all-time high will happen. So what had happened since Coinbase started climbing up? I mean, after S&P announcement, it started, dropping 30% correction, and now it's, popping back up from 300 currently to 342. What are we seeing right now? I mean, Ethereum is playing out the same way. I mean, it dropped to like 1400 and then they just rocketed up. Now we're seeing major consolidation above 4000, which is a key signal. We want, Ethereum to build a base at 4000, where the psychology changes, where that becomes the official support level. And then we're going to see that next leg up, similar to what we're seeing with this consolidation period, around May to July timeframe. So now we're seeing that happen at 4,000. That's very bullish. Even Tom Lee is forecasting Ethereum can even go to like 10 to 15,000. BitBull posts Ethereum is still consolidating above its 4,000 key resistance level. Some people are turning bearish on ETH and calling it for 3K now. They missed the first rally and they'll miss the next rally too. In my opinion, a dip towards 3.5, 4,000 followed by a new all-time high is highly likely. So what is going to play out? I mean, back in 2021, we saw, just Bitcoin having that breakout session, where it just popped up. Now, are we seeing the same thing happen for, overall Ethereum, where we're going to see it, just break out to new levels? I mean, here we have it forecasted, up to like 22,000. So anything can happen. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I think up through 2025, we may very well land somewhere around that 7 to 8,000. Merlin Trader posts the cup and handle that makes millionaires. Each spent 3 years forming this setup. Now the breakout is in motion. Measure target points to 10,000 plus. This isn't hopium, it's geometry. Ethereum is about to show why patience pays. See this lovely cup and handle formation. We see consolidation currently at like 4,400. And soon enough, we may very well see this vertical candle just take off with Ethereum. Dan Ives posts, great to be driving the AI, ORBS, and crypto vision on Capitol Hill today, meeting with many senators and members of Congress. As chairman of 8Co, along with my good friends and visionaries, we got Fundstrat, Tom Lee, we got the infamous Michael Saylor. This picture just shows, the kings of Wall Street right now with, digital asset cryptocurrency. Michael Saylor, revolutionizing Ethereum treasury with Tom Lee. Michael Saylor, just the Bitcoin king. Treasury Edge posts here were the top 10 most liquid crypto treasury names from today on Blockworks. I mean, strategy, with the daily trading volume, $2.83 billion. Right behind is Bitmine. I mean, soon enough, we may very well see just daily trading volume just bypass MSTR. MSTR, I think, is going to have a breakout session as well. So be on the lookout for that. Similar to SBET, Nakamoto, Solana's doing well. Bit Digital, I think, is going to have a breakout session. So that's why we're seeing key volume increases with these big players, especially crypto treasury companies. Max Ether posts, I think something is cooking in merger land. BMNR, ETHZILLA. ETHZILLA is another Ethereum treasury company that holds about over 100,000 Ethereum. But what can happen is the company ETHZILLA looking for a new funding or to merge with another entity. So we haven't heard much social media posts from ETHZILLA. I mean, just with, just the last several days, I mean, that just tells you something in that there might be some partnership deal that's going to be coming up where there may be a potential merger acquisition or some type of transaction that's going to be coming. And it may be very possible that Bitmine, Tom Lee, has interest in this company for just buying out its ETHZILLA. That may very well just add to the stack of what Bitmine already has. And that may just, be a win-win situation for both entities, forming into Bitmine immersion technology. So let's say if you're a holder of ETHZILLA, that can be beneficial. And if you're a holder of BMNR, that can be beneficial as well. But October 7th, there's going to be some announcements and we may get more clarity on this. But for now, nothing is confirmed yet, but that's just, the news that's going around. Let's take a look at Ethereum treasury companies. I mean, Bitmine is like the number one right now in terms of its HODL of Ethereum, 2.15 million tokens of ETH. That's getting close to about $10 billion worth. I mean, SharpLink Gaming, they're right behind BMNR, 838,000, Ethereum tokens. So getting close to half of what BMNR has. You got Coinbase, Bit Digital, ETHZILLA Corporation. So truly, BMNR is creating a big disparity where they continue to stack. Micro to macro prices several weeks back, 181, 330% gains coming for BMNR in the next 2+ months. So he has the Fibonacci, drawn out where he thinks that things can just rocket launch, where, this stock may go to $220 and I'll cover the TA analysis on where I think things are going to be headed, but overall, I think things are going to be looking very bullish as crypto starts having a monster move, like what Tom Lee has said. Professor Heist posts BMNR is not yet done. A breakout above $71. Bears are running for their lives. Long from 40s. Enough said. I mean, you see this cup and handle formation. I think, it's primed. It's going to be running up. It's not a matter of if, but when. Let's take a look at technical analysis of Ethereum. So we had ETH breakout, getting, its all-time high back in August 13, and then it dipped back it down to like 4,000 and then really broke its all-time high of 2021, August 24th. And then, it was right at that range, getting close to breaking 5,000, but there was resistance there. You see the volume increase, still hovering above the Ichimoku cloud. Then it began to consolidate. I mean, through September, we had a mini, pump up to like 4,700, and now it's just consolidating, higher lows, higher highs. We're just consolidating for, the last couple months, I mean, up through August to now, that's definitely a key signal where we're still hovering above the Ichimoku cloud. I feel like the bigger the base here, the bigger the up launch. And we've heard Tom Lee say that Bitcoin's going to 200K, Ethereum going to 10,000, 15,000 by 2025. Crypto's going to have a monster move. What does this mean? I really do think that we're going to land somewhere around that range. I think between 7,800 is where I think things are going to land, somewhere between like November, December. So, we're looking very bullish. And right now, BMNR is definitely going to be a company that will be favorable to shareholders, especially with Ethereum launching. Let's go through technical analysis of BMNR. So I won't be covering that, the prior launch back in July going to $160. There was so much upside around that time frame, but let's take a look at the bullish bearish indicator using this technicals that I have. Anytime when you see red signals on the graph, that indicates, bullish momentum coupled with purple. Anytime when you see red and purple, we're looking at the hourly candle, so things can change quickly. What are we seeing though? Whales are just buying up right now. I mean, this is definitely a key signal. We want to see whales buying. That's definitely important for us. And current price, I've been talking about BMNR, buying, at that $30 range. Even if you didn't get it, it's okay. $40 up, that's fine as well. You look at the V shape, it's coming. I think the first stop is going to be somewhere around that 77, $80 range. And soon enough, we'll be climbing, we'll be consolidating around this range before that next leg up. Let's look more, let's look at the daily chart. And I will turn on the Fibonacci as well. Look at the volume increase. That's definitely a key sign. So put on the Fibonacci retracement. Let's take a look to see where things can, really land. So, the golden ratio, we have somewhere around, 110, which, I do have my stair step two forecast somewhere around that range by year end. We're going to get somewhere around 120 plus. We may even get in between this pocket of like, 110, 132. That's where I think, things are going to land. But the first step that we're going to land is, break, above, it'll be interesting to see how we test at that Fibonacci 0.382. So I have that white line drawn at around the 77, right below the orange line and right above. We might land somewhere around 77, $88, and then just have that, consolidate. We might have a mini self-correction, but the key thing is we have that resistance become the new support before we start climbing up to the, the golden ratio Fibonacci range. So this will be very interesting. And I think, traders, investors are really looking around this really, this zone for BMNR as we head into the rest of 2025. But you never know, things can launch even further. We've seen this thing launch all the way up to like 160. So we may very well see, it get beyond, the forecast and go like, the 1.618, Fibonacci extension, $240. So anything can happen. This is looking very bullish. I think, it can make lots of money for those who are hedging towards an ETH treasury company like BMNR as they are becoming like the next strategy company.
Shift gears to some stable coins. So we're seeing big players like JP Morgan enter the space. I'm curious, what kind of impact do you think they will have inside the stablecoin market?
A very significant impact. The stablecoin industry is the first really widely adopted crypto product. Mm-hmm. That's why we called it the Chat GPT moment. And stablecoins work really well. Mm-hmm. Merchants love it because they don't have what they call chargebacks, and the exchange fees are much lower. Mm-hmm. If a merchant accepts Visa payments, for instance, that's 2 to 3% of the charge is taken by Visa. Mm-hmm. And if there's a fraudulent charge, the merchant is forced to lose money on that transaction. Mm-hmm. There's never any fraud on a stablecoin because it's a bearer instrument. Consumers like stablecoins because it's less expensive to carry a USDC than to have a bank account. And then the stablecoin issuer makes money on a stablecoin. Stablecoins also are big owners of US treasuries. In fact, collectively, they're the 12th largest holder of US treasuries. Mm-hmm. So it's a very good model for the United States. And I think banks have looked at stablecoins initially as, they didn't really like the product, but now that they've seen the adoption, they become interested in issuing their own stablecoins.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what your thoughts are, where you're watching from, what questions you have as far as, where you see BMNR going. So if you enjoyed this content, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing. Thanks, guys.